What's up, guys? It's your man, Donovan Sharp, and welcome to this evening edition of TSR Primetime. We are going to be reviewing a video from a channel called We Need to Talk, and you guys will see that in a few minutes. First, let me introduce tonight's panelist. First up from across the pond, it is 1 o'clock in the morning there?
Yeah.
1 o'clock in the morning on the England side. It is Pearl Davis. How you doing, Pearl?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. You look younger and happier for some reason. Like, what's going on over there? Have you found a guy? What's up?
No guy. I don't know. I'm just in a better place recently.
Okay, yeah, it certainly seems that way, especially what with the podcast you guys just had. How did that go? I mean, that was kind of your maiden voyage. You look like you guys were having some fun.
It was a lot of fun. There's a lot that you don't think about when you're running that kind of thing. So
Yes.
there's definitely room for improvement, but I
Yes.
think it's actually going to be something really cool.
Good. What did you learn? What did you learn on that podcast that you didn't know or realize before?
What did I learn on that podcast?
Among other things about running a podcast.
Oh, about running a podcast. Oh my gosh, it's really hard to get the girls to like shut up. Like I'm pretty agreeable, so it doesn't really come naturally to me to be like you've been taught like you need to like not, you know.
Well, I can teach you some tricks that I used that I use because I moderate almost everything, and there are certain things that you can do and say that sort of move the conversation along, lets the other person know, hey, it's somebody else's turn to talk without being a dick or a bitch about it. So we'll certainly talk about that behind the scenes. Next up, the newly married, formerly Allie V. She is now Allie D. Allie has secured the bag in the form of a marriage. So let me be the first to congratulate you, Mrs. D. How's it feel?
Thank you. It feels really good, and I will say we've consummated the marriage, and it was hot. It was great. Highly recommend it.
Good. You consummated it several times. That's always very, very good.
Man, always, you know, I'm trying to tell these women, like, if you could have good bedroom fun for the rest of your life, why would you say no? Why would you say no?
I'm trying to tell you. But seriously, congratulations. Like you're what this community is about, man. We're about cultivating good relationships between men and women. When you first started out, you were engaged. I remember when you were on Kevin Samuels, you kind of went through a come to Jesus moment there. You turned on the feminine charm and boom, just like that, you got the ring.
Pow. Yes, it works. Wait. That's why I stick around and listen to you guys. I mean, y'all are fabulous mentors, no lie.
You were on Kevin Samuels? I didn't even know.
Oh, yes, she was.
I called him to ask what gift to get Tom, and then he told me that I need to reevaluate my relationship and also my own quality of self. So if you want to know the truth, call Kevin. It turned out to be good. So
dress size. Yeah, Kevin will give it to you straight. He gives it to you. He's one of the smartest people I know. But I'm glad that you were able to parlay that and your mentorship from Tom. And listen, man, you're living the American dream. You're a young, attractive woman who is now married, and you guys are ready to make some babies and all that good stuff. So congratulations to you guys.
Actually, Kevin sort of told me to break up with my last boyfriend too. So.
Oh, really? Why did he tell you to break up with your last boyfriend?
He just said if he's not a husband, if he's a boyfriend, not a husband, to like get out of that.
Yeah.
So
you have to date with intention. Yeah. As Dev says, date with intention, not for attention. Okay, so you guys are so we are going to, this is a short video. It's a little 9-minute video. It's from a it's from a channel called We Need to Talk. And it talks mainly about sexual relations between Black men and Black women. Incidentally enough, the things that they talk about also apply to non-Black men and non-Black women. So without further ado, away we go.
Black boy, tell me how you really feel.
Black boy, here we go.
I just want to build with you. Black girl, tell me how you really feel. I just want to keep it real with you. I want to live better, eat better. I want to love better, sleep better. I want to feel so aligned, sublime. One time for the state of mind, 2 times for elevated.
Okay, that's real cute and all. But when he says, I want to eat better, sleep better, I want to do this better, you don't need a woman to do that. You can certainly do that all on your own. As a matter of fact, I would argue that the wrong woman will turn your life upside down. You ladies agree or disagree?
I absolutely agree, because I had to pick up the pieces from the last chick who was smoking hot, single mother of 2.
Oh, the
just
26-year-old.
ridiculously hot. Yes. No, she was his age, but that was a huge distraction in his life, and so I had to kind of show up and prove my worth, prove that I was trustworthy, and it's just because of this chick. So I would say the wrong woman can mess your life up.
Wow, even for women. What do you think, Pearl?
Oh, I think on both sides, like the wrong partner ruins more lives than like anything.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Anything. I've seen the wrong partner get people into drugs, get people into so
jail, dead, all that good stuff. This is the one thing that really stands out to me here is the fact that it's like, tell me how you feel. I want to eat better, sleep better. This, again, we're better together, but unfortunately, we're not really doing that well with it. So here we go.
Why are you smiling? I'm scared.
She's scared.
Right.
Here we go.
And again, you have to speak for Black women. So this has to be a, what is it called? Femme noir perspective.
Okay.
Why does the word submission trigger y'all?
Damn!
I feel like these questions aren't that difficult.
Merch.
They're not.
It's difficult from a woman's perspective because women don't want to wrap their minds around it. And I think that's why women are not okay with that word. Because
that's interesting. So in her mind, she says women don't want to wrap their minds around submission. Hold on, let me let her finish.
They don't want to inherently accept. How do we get there?
Okay, so what do you think, Allie? She says women don't want to wrap their minds around submission, and I'm assuming this is why women don't want to submit. What are your thoughts on that? That doesn't really make much sense, does it?
So it does and it doesn't, but it's mostly, it just goes to show you how feminism can infiltrate minority communities. And I'm just going to keep it a stack. I'm Puerto Rican from the hood, so Black problems are also my problems that I had growing up in my neighborhood.
Okay.
And what they talk about, like, single mothers, my family's full of them. And I love my aunts. They're amazing women in many regards, but it's women of that sort of lifestyle that they get triggered the most when they hear the word submission. They've never run across a dominant man or a man who's worth being led by in order to submit. That's one thing. And the other thing is sometimes you'll watch women and they'll say that they don't submit to their men, but they're the first ones out there fixing him a plate. So they just don't like how the word sounds. They would prefer it if you said joyful cooperation, but then also women don't want to believe that they have to contribute in relationships these days.
Oh, shit. Wow. Okay. Allie said she was going to keep it a stack, and that's exactly what she did. Pearl, what do you have to add to that? Do you agree with this woman? She says, well, women don't want to really wrap their minds around this. That's why they're triggered when they hear the word submit.
When girls hear that word, they often think of a relationship where they have no say in anything ever. When I think of submission, I think of picking a CEO. You can choose who to work for, and not all CEOs are the same.
Okay.
There's a very big difference between, we've all had bosses that we absolutely adored and bosses that we absolutely hated. So, and it's up to you to pick the best boss. And I think that's like, girls just think of it as like a dictatorship at times.
There you go. Dev in the chat says the action or fact of accepting or yielding to a superior force or to the will or authority of another person. It looks like she looked up the Webster's dictionary version of submission. Yes, Devin is very submissive to me, but she absolutely has a say. But the reason she has a say is because she has earned that say. A lot of men want women to submit to them, but they're not worth submitting to. But then by the same token, when they're worth submitting to, they find a woman and she does not want to be submissive because, well, I'm not going to be part of a dictatorship. I think that's probably lost in the translation. So that's a very good word there, Pearl.
We get to this point. If we're not even willing to accept the word, we're definitely not going to be willing to accept what got us to being icky about that word. We are the most helpful and kind, unhelpful motherfuckers on this planet.
Wow.
A woman will go to the death for her friend, and they will create the most cozy space for their family, the most endearing space for their best friend. But for some reason, when it comes to a man, it's a pit that you get in your stomach, like, oh, hell nah.
Yo, this woman is keeping it 100. Wow, she's keeping it all the way real. Allie, she says, hey, with women, they make safe spaces. They make it all comfortable for their friends and family. But when it comes to a man, that's when they're feeling some type of way. Why is that? Why? What sense does that make?
That's something that I'm still trying to figure out. So far, what I've been able to discern is that there is not much value placed on a husband or a man who stays, which you would obviously have to put in some effort and say, yes, I'd like to be with you for the rest of your life. Here's what I'm willing to do. Here's what I need you to do. So when there is no husband in the family, when there is no father figure in the family, instead, what you will see is more communal relationships between girlfriends, which you can have a group of young women who didn't grow up with fathers or grew up in single mother homes, what have you, and they will have their own children and they'll be single as well, but they rely on each other, where they wouldn't have to do that if they had a husband, but they don't see the value in that. It's enough for them to cohabitate. It's enough for them to get that little bit of money that he comes and goes. It's enough for them to be with an unfaithful man as well. They're completely willing to share him, even though they say they're not. They totally are.
Wow. Pearl, what are your thoughts on what she said? She said, hey, women will make the most comfortable space for their friends and family, but when it comes to a man,
I think a lot of times people are afraid of looking dumb. So like doing all this for someone, and then, at the end of the day, he doesn't like them or want them, or it goes wrong. So I think it's out of a place of fear a lot of the time.
Okay.
Because, at some point that probably happened.
Okay.
And they just thought, oh, I'm just never going to do that for a guy again, instead of pick the right guy, Yeah,
no, that makes sense. What you're seeing on your ladies, Street Fighter 88 says because their mothers don't want them coupled. Is there anything to that? Okay, yeah. Allie, listen, you said you're Puerto Rican, you're basically black. What is it? What's up?
If you want me to debunk the hood, I will do it for you. So it's because your kids are your retirement plan, because you can't get a man.
No.
So who are you going to hang out with if your daughter gets married? Nobody. I'm serious. And these women don't know that they're doing it, but they out here like that movie Misery, like trying to hobble their kids so that they never
my God. Wow. Pearl, your thoughts on that? Is that the way it is in the white community?
No. No, I mean, my parents want me to get married, so I don't have to rely on them. Like, they'd rather just not.
Right. And what Allie said, and this is funny, this happens even in my own motherfucking family. My mother, when we were young kids, my mother was a great mom, but as soon as she started fucking other niggas, she was a shitty mom. But she is just now realizing that she fucked up. She realized that she fucked us over. And so now she spent the last 20 years trying to make up for the fact that she fucked us over. You want to know why? Because we are literally her retirement plan. That's why my mom sport fucked her way around military bases. And she's still a once married, once divorced woman with multiple abortions at 62 years old with no man. And I think I agree with you, Allie. I think a lot of minority mothers, Puerto Ricans, blacks, Hispanics, a lot of their mothers don't want them coupled up because that's their retirement plan. I had never thought of that, but I think you're right. I think you're 100% right. Oh my goodness, man, you just came.
Yep.
You're about to debunk the hood. Devin says women are conditioned to expect to be being taken care of by a man rather than to take care of a man. Wow. Holy Kathy Bates. Let's continue.
And I think it's also like,
Damn.
what are my friends gonna think if I talk about catering to my man? I can cater to my friends all day.
Wow.
Me, for example, I love having my friends around me, like as far as holidays and dinners and like things that make my friends feel good. I love having us all together. We're all like that. All of my friends, I have a tight friend group. We're all like that. We just like having each other together. And thankfully, I don't have friends that if I were to do that same thing for a man, that they would look at me different. But I could see like a feminist or a woman that doesn't think that men or they inherently don't think that men are deserving of that feminine submissive energy. I can see them doing those things in that same setting for their friend or for a family member at Thanksgiving, making it warm and lighting candles, this and that. And then maybe going home to their man and being like, oh, don't talk to me like that. You're talking, you want to make your plate? Fuck no.
Wow.
Wildly different. So those like small.
She's keeping it a stack. Allie, why is this? Why do women value their friends more than they value their man? It's crazy.
Well, they think that they're supposed to. You think as a woman that you're supposed to have girlfriends, but honestly, once a woman meets a man and gets married, she kind of disappears. If she gets married, hopefully she does, positive outcome. So then she starts to have children. You really don't see good women because they're not single. You know what I mean? Like they're busy, they're at home, they're not going to be at the bars on Friday nights. But you think when you're young, you're supposed to have girlfriends. Yes. I think it gets a lot different when you're 35 and you still have a lot of girlfriends. Why do they have so much free time? What's the quality of these women's lives? Are they alcoholics? So you think that you're supposed to, but that's something that you end up finding out later in life. It's the myth of the sisterhood. Sisterhood kind of exists if you don't have a man.
Pearl, your thoughts on this?
Again, I think it's out of fear.
Okay.
Because like men have let them down at some point, right? Because I think most people have been rejected by someone at some point, right? Unless you're just better than us all, then maybe for you. But and so I think a lot of times girls will go back to that like one negative experience they had and just make every other guy to come pay for it.
Sure. Right. Kevin Samuels calls this the color purpling of our society and the waiting to exhale of our society. The color purple was inaccurate. That's not what was that was an extreme cinematic depiction of the typical typical black family. That shit would never fly. Same with waiting to exhale. You have a black man married to a black woman, he leaves her for a white girl. It's like, okay. I mean, women are using movies and fictional characters and sort of using them as the battle cry for their real lives. Devin says in the chat, he's just going to leave you, cheat on you, treat you like crap, but I'll always be here for you. Yeah. What do you think about that, Pearl? Is that something that women like to listen? He's going to do this and that and the other because they don't want their friends to get married because then they won't have their friend anymore.
Yeah, that's pretty similar. Like I would always hear, she always like disappears when she has a boyfriend. Yeah, but you're supposed to.
Yes, right. That's how it goes.
That's the point.
Why is it that women think it's so bad? Oh my God, she disappears that she has a boyfriend, Allie. Like, what's that about?
It's a blue pill situation. You're blue pilled into thinking that the sisterhood is real. But if you ever disagree with another woman, the sisterhood, it's a facade. It doesn't actually exist. Wow. I think women are only girlfriends because they're waiting to meet their husbands if they ever do.
Wow. Oh my God, you're dropping some fucking gems, but you're right.
I mean, it's true. It's true. I tried for so long. I thought there was something wrong with me. Why can't I make girlfriends stay? But then I started getting older and I started understanding that quality people, well, obviously they're not out and about. If you have a good girlfriend and she has a life and a husband and kids, you have to schedule time with her. You can't just, hey, let's go out and get mimosas. So
yeah, right.
I'm usually pretty free, Allie. It's whatever.
See, well, there you go.
we
Because
could
you guys
spend time together whenever. I don't have any babies yet.
right, but when you have, but you're absolutely right. That's one thing that Devin told me when her and I started dating. She's like, it's just so hard for me to make female friends, and I'm like, what are you talking about? And she sort of ran it down for me, and I was like, wow, I know everything there is to know about female nature in terms of intra and intersexual dynamics. But when it comes to female friends being friends with each other, one thing Devin told me that reigns true is for women to be really good friends with each other, they have to be kind of in the same, they have to be like at the same stage of life. You're either both single, you're both married, or you're both married having affairs, you're both divorced, going through a divorce, you're both back on as long as you have something in common with their stage in life, then women are going to be friends. But I agree with what you said, Allie. I think women are girlfriends with each other until they get married, because this is why they disappear when they get a boyfriend or significant other, is because this might be the one.
Little things like we, I think, as a society, have a way of blowing things up bigger than what they really are.
Oh,
Like submission doesn't have to mean I'm getting on my knees for you. Like that's not what it has to mean. Like it doesn't have to mean like you see in movies, like slaves being like, yes, okay. You know?
see, that's the difference. You see do you hear what she says? You hear what she says? She says it's not to be like in movies where they're slaves. No. Submission. Listen, one of the unwritten definition of submission is relinquishing control. You can't make someone do something they don't want to do. If someone is doing something they don't want to do, they're not really submitting. They're succumbing, because either you have a gun to their head, you're holding their kid ransom, whatever the case may be. But being submissive is willful. It's done out of will and desire, and a wanton desire to submit to the other person. Why do you think, Allie, why do you think that women characterize submission as, oh my God, you're just these, like anytime a woman describes submission, they think of the small Asian woman with the black eye looking down, trying not to make eye contact. She gives the dinner to the white man and the white beater who, hits it out of her hand. It's gold, do it again. And she goes off crying. Why do women characterize it like that?
I think they don't want to admit that they're problematic, quarrelsome, difficult to be around.
Yeah.
There's an idea that all women need submission work. That's not true. I live in the Midwest, and I don't mean to bring race into it, okay? But it's full of black people out here, So they're coming from these two-parent Christian households, and these women understand that when somebody has respectful authority, that they naturally submit. Because they understand that person might know more. This person is trying to help me. They're naturally cooperative. But when you get lower in socioeconomic status, that natural ability to trust in the world, because you've had to be in survival mode, it just goes out the window. So for women to accept submission, they would have to first understand that they were quarrelsome women, and nobody wants to think that.
No, nobody does. Wow. I don't think it's a race thing at all, Allie. I think you're right. I think it is definitely a socioeconomic I think it's a socioeconomic status thing. Now, most people who are low on the socioeconomic totem pole happen to be people of color, black people, Hispanics, etc., etc. Pearl, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on women characterizing submission as the woman walking around with a black eye, trying not to make eye contact with her husband lest he kick her ass?
I think it's just not like really talked about. Like, I don't think mothers, like even my mom, I think she demonstrated submission, but she never really had that conversation with me. You know what I mean?
Okay.
About what it means to like submit to a man. So that's why I think there's a lot of misunderstanding, because I think there's just a lot of conversations that aren't like had.
I think the way your parents are, Pearl, there are a lot of understoods. Like in English class, there's the understood you.
Mm-hmm.
I think your mother demonstrated submission long enough to the point to where she didn't feel that she needed to explain it to you. She showed it to you your entire your entire adolescent life. Would you say that's probably the case, or she just said, you know what, there's no need for me to have this conversation with Pearl?
I mean, it wasn't like black and white. Like there were times where my parents definitely argued about stuff, and I would say she was like, perfectly submitting. But I'd say overall, like she followed his plan in life. So my dad was, he was living in Wisconsin
Mhm.
and she was living in Illinois. They were dating in college. They did
Oh,
distance
you
for
told
2
me this.
years.
I
Yeah, yeah.
remember this. Yes, yes, yes.
And then my dad said to her, "You can either move to me or find a new boyfriend."
Wow! Holy shit! All right, very
So
good.
she moved and transferred schools and dated him for like, so I think that was her sophomore year, so her junior, senior year. And then they got married right after college. And then she was supposed to be a teacher. That was her degree. And then she quit that to work for my dad.
See,
And
this
they
is
started
how
a business together. Yeah.
Kevin Samuels talks about this all the time. This is how white people do it. They meet their husband in college and they get married after college. Other races of people, not so much. Devin says submission is aligned with abuse. Allie, agree or disagree? Wow.
Yeah. Yo, oh my God. I'm gonna try not to be so savage about this.
Dude,
But
be
yeah,
savage.
it's always the women that pick the worst dudes where, they show up with bruises. They're like, I don't know why he's like that. I'm like, girl, like, just get out. What do you mean? And they're the first ones to turn around and tell you, if you submit to a man, he's gonna take advantage of you. I'm
Yes.
like, you're on bad guy number 4. You're on criminal number 4. Why would I listen to you?
That's fucking great. Oh my God. Allie, this is why we call her the savage assassin now. Pearl, submission is aligned with abuse. Agree or disagree?
I would say disagree, like a hard disagree on that one.
Okay. All right.
It just means relinquishing control.
Yes.
And
right.
it's depending on your personality, it's easier for some people than others.
Ah.
So I think a lot of times too, there's got to be personality traits. Like I'm more agreeable, so I think that would be like more natural. Like I'm at 70th percentile on the agreeableness scale. But there's some women that are highly disagreeable. It doesn't really come natural to them.
Well, now that I would disagree with. I think the reason why you're agreeable, Pearl, is because you're a woman and you were raised in a 2-parent stable household. So you were given permission as a kid indirectly to embrace feminine traits like being agreeable. Women who are disagreeable, or as Allie so eloquently puts it, quarrelsome, women naturally are agreeable, but for whatever reason, their environment, especially when they're of low socioeconomic status, they tend to be disagreeable. Now, there are many reasons for this, one of which may be a defense mechanism. Either way, men do not want to wife up quarrelsome women. King Diaz with the $10 super chat says, love the show. Big ups from a West Philly native. Good stuff. Street Fighter 88 says, Allie just being a savage. Dude, I need to come up with a with a sound effect, because Allie, you're more savage than I am on these hoes, man. Dr. B84 says, black women break up with their dude in college, but then scramble back when they're 40 plus, talking about they want a high value man. Shake my head. So
Yes,
the Tinder swindler, the Tinder swindler himself, Simon Live is making an appearance in the chat. Says, how do I become a member, Donovan? Dev, if you would put the membership link in the chat so that the Tinder swindler can be a part of the TSR family. Shout out to you, Simon. We're not going to give away your location because we know you're wanted by like 5 FBIs, but that's okay. We're not going to tell Interpol where you are. Let's continue.
No, it doesn't have to be like that. Like, why is it that submission can't be the little subtle things, like simply, can you hand me that, babe? Or come help me with something, and you listening to the directions of what they're saying. Or can you go and get me whatever because I'm doing this? And not even an explanation. They don't have to give you an explanation. Just like little things. I think that
see, she's not talking about submission. She's just talking about compliance, right? At that point, if you're quarrelsome, you're not submissive or compliant. But I mean, correct me if I'm wrong here, Allie. Does submission require a level of compliance?
I think so, but I think it's just trusting in a competent man's leadership. But in order to find out that he's competent, you have to give him a chance first. I think women who end up involved in submission and had to do the work because they weren't naturally fitted for it.
Mhm,
They
mhm.
understand the value of taking that leap of faith. I was a very argumentative woman, and I didn't want to be because I loved him. I thought he was great, but I just couldn't
Wow.
stop arguing about nothing. And then I ended up
Wow.
finding out, oh, okay, well, I'm a quarrelsome woman. Well, where did I learn these things? Where did I model this behavior? Oh, how do I deprogram that? Trusting him. There you go.
So where did you learn that behavior?
I had to research it actually. So I researched femininity from a Christian context because we're in the
Okay.
West, and that's how
Okay.
you would find out your feminine culture. In the
Okay.
East, you would find it within the culture and not religion because they don't have gendered religions. So I ended up running into a Bible study that said all the things that women were commanded to be. I
Mhm.
was like, this making a lot of sense. And one of the things that it talked about was being sober, but it's not just being sober of alcohol. It's also
Mhm,
being
mhm.
sober of emotion because you don't want to be ruled by your feelings. And that was when I was like, I think that I can stop arguing and turn it into something else. And I just kept trying, rinsing and repeating. I don't argue that much with Tom anymore.
Of course not. And you got the fucking dude. You stopped
Don
becoming a quarrelsome
DeMarco.
woman, and this ring just appeared on your finger. It's funny how that happens, right? Compliance, Pearl. Talk to me about your mother's relationship with your father. What was your dad an asshole boss, or did he not have to be because your mother was already naturally compliant?
Oh no, my dad's the I talk about my dad all the time.
Oh yeah, your face
No.
glows. Yes.
No, my dad is so nice. Like he is like the nicest person I've ever met like in my life. Like he would
Okay.
growing up, if there was someone like that was like struggling with their groceries or whatever, like he would always be the guy that like drops what he's doing to help like strangers carry their
Oh,
groceries.
he's that guy.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's so
wow.
nice.
So he's a good man. Wow.
He's a
good
great man, actually. Like he took in 3 kids that didn't have homes.
Yeah.
Because like they didn't want more kids. My dad's you know how many times he's told me like he wish he had less of us.
Of course.
In
of
a
course.
nice way.
I'd be loaded if I didn't have kids, right? If I said something like that. But your father, but this is the thing, man. This is why, and I'm gonna come to Allie here. This is why I admire. I don't even know your dad, but just the things that I know, it now explains to me why you appear to be so naive about these things. I think that you became a part of the Red Pill community, not just to be a part of it, but just to kind of learn what everybody else is talking about.
Well, and I've
ahead.
seen it more actually since I've moved, to be honest, the red
Oh.
pill stuff because I've always been in like private school. This is my first public school, and it's definitely like more here, to be honest.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So you grew up in a very sheltered life.
Yeah, I live in the
Oh,
hood
okay.
now.
He lives in the English hood.
I do.
The dodgy part of town. Boy. Allie, you said you had something real quick.
Right. So I wanted to give men insight on female nature because this is the best way I could describe it. Because sometimes you know that the guy is a catch, but you just can't act right. And this is what it's like.
Ah.
It's like your hands are super glued to the steering wheel of the car and the gas pedal is down. And you want so desperately to turn it away. And lying down, tied up in front of the vehicle is your man. The man that you love, and you're driving this car and you want to steer it away to not hurt him, but you just can't do anything about it. You can't stop, and it just happens. And that's really hard to get out of when you have really poor modeling, when all day, every day, you see your mother, your aunts, grandmother, well, not mine is cool. Just arguing all day, every day with men. That's just what you think it's normal. You think that's love.
Wow, man, oh man, I'm gonna tell you what, dude. This is why you have your own YouTube channel, because you're very good. You're very good at explaining these things. Shout out to the Tinder swindler himself, Simon Live. Welcome to the YouTube chat. I would encourage you to put your age and location in the chat, but then Interpol would probably catch up with you. Nobody tells Celia Feloy where Simon Live is. Tell Celia what's up for me. Let's continue.
With the advent of feminism, like we are so transfixed in our own autonomy that we've forgotten completely about our natural ability to want to take care and cater to other people. It doesn't necessarily have to be a mate or a partner, but we have a natural ability as women to want to take care of other people.
Right.
Feminism has like inserted this level of selfishness.
Wait, correct me if I'm wrong. This one, it seems very feminine. She's extraordinarily well spoken. I mean, she's not capping. I mean, she seems to be. I mean, she says she embodies all of the, I guess, some of the worst traits of Black women, but she does. I mean, other than her weight, she appears to be the real deal. What's your opinion of this girl, Allie? What do you think?
Well, we don't know if she's single. She could be dating somebody. She might not be.
Yep.
But in general, if she's single, I mean, she seems like a good candidate for an intimate relationship. So my guess would be hypergamy if she's single. So
Okay, all right. Well, what do you think of the girl on the screen here, Pearl?
I feel like me and her will be friends.
You think so, huh?
Yeah, we'd be friends.
All right. Merch, by the way. Merch. By the way. All right, let's get the lights up. Let's get the lights up.
The side of us where my autonomy and my ability to be independent is king. That's what it is.
Mhm.
Whenever I prove in a social setting, because usually it's a social setting, right? With these, you don't do this like stuff by yourself or whatever. But in a social setting, if I can prove that I'm the smartest, or I can prove that I did this thing on my own, it's like an accolade or it's praised.
But
We've also like, I don't know if I want to stop here.
she does look like Charles Barkley, though.
y'all are foul for that one.
Yeah, but you're right. No pun intended.
I don't think that Black women, I'm just going to talk about Black women.
Tell it, girl.
It's not about women. It's about Black women. It's not about men. It's about
I
Black
was going to say Black versus Black men. I'm just going to talk about Black women. Side
Go
of
on
what
now.
makes us comfortable. Like as long as we have friends to go out with, I don't care about loyalty so much. Like I don't care about sacrifice. As long as like my lifestyle is comfortable, I don't care about sacrificing anything for my like the community. I think that a lot of us, I have a goddaughter.
Oh, this is interesting.
And we do the best that we can to provide a pretty solid community for her.
Mm-hmm.
But I still see like sometimes my selfish ways, especially when I was younger. She was born, I think, maybe I was like 20, 21. When I was younger, I was like, no, I want to go out.
Right.
Like I want to party. I have zero regard for even though that she was young. Thankfully, I grew out of this because she's 6 now. But I have zero regard for this child and her well-being. I just want to go out and do whatever I want to do. We've lost like our sense of like loyalty to our communities and to ourselves. And we are so fucking brainwashed.
Allie, now you said the Puerto Rican community has a lot of similarities to the Black community. Is she speaking facts here, or are there different nuances here?
I mean, this is like an onion. There's many layers to this.
Okay.
So it's a subtle indoctrination that you hear enough times that it changes the way that you see the world, think about the world, think about men. When we're looking at brown women, they're going to be in progressive schools. These progressive schools have, typically white graduates that have no idea about the neighborhoods that they're about to work in. They just want to be helpful. They don't understand context at all. So it's my interpretation and my understanding that the minds of brown women have just been brainwashed by feminism, more specifically white feminism. Yeah. But every time I bring up white feminism, somebody brings up Black feminism, and like that's not really where I'm trying to go. What I'm trying to say is like brown women were never considered in the original movement. Susan B. Anthony was a racist, and then Margaret Sanger was a eugenicist. And these are the women that you're allowing yourself as a community to think that you should be getting advice from them. I don't think so. I think the
Jesus.
best thing you can do as a brown woman is check out your grandma. If she's well rounded, check her out. Because I think there
Okay.
must have been some kind of a breakdown with Gen X women. They're not all bad, but you got to find your female role models wherever you can.
Because it's hard. It's really, really hard to find female role models. Pearl, female role models. Where would someone like you find a female role model?
My mom.
There you go. There it is. There's the answer. There is the answer.
Trying to think. Maybe my grandma, but
I would say your grandma.
oh wait, no, they weren't really. No, I wouldn't. No, my mom.
Never mind. Grandma was out there. Okay. So what about your grandma? What about your mother differentiates from your grandmother?
My mother. Well, my mom's alive.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yo,
My
Pearl.
Okay. All right. Pearl just told a funny joke. She's like, okay, that was kind of fucked up, but it's still kind of funny. Let's assuming what about your grandmother's life differentiates from your mother's life other than the time she was alive? You're going to hell, Pearl, you know.
No. Well, my grandma stuck with my grandpa through like a lot, to be honest. Like they moved a lot. They had 13 kids. So
wow.
Because my mom's one of 9 and my dad's one of 13.
Okay.
So yeah, there's a lot of Irish Catholic, man.
Okay. Well, that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. But it's good that it's good that it was like I was like, all right, Pearl, who would you look to for a role model? You're like, my mom, as if to say, like, where the hell else would I look for that? But most women can't say that, especially Black women, Latinas, etc. Because if they're like a lot of women's role models are girls like Jen from the block, right? Yeah, like Jen from the block. She's a lot of because she's damn near 50. She's 47. She looks fucking fantastic, but she's a fucking banshee. This is why she's still single, even though she looks like that, because she does not have any redeeming qualities other than the way she looks. Do not take on role models like Jen from the block. Allie, what you got?
Right. So when we're talking about the infiltration of feminism, check this out. So my grandparents have been together my whole life. They're each other's second marriage, not legal. Okay. So recently, I want to say maybe 3 or 4 years ago, my grandfather retired. And so my grandmother, now she stays home. She finished working at a factory. She worked in a factory her whole life and stayed home. So my grandmother, she cooks predominantly in the house now. Before he would cook too, because they were both working. But now she cooks, but she also loves cooking. Straight up loves it. And one of my aunts came in and she's looking at my grandfather like, why don't you cook for her? And what they didn't see is that he has her cup of coffee ready every day in the morning in her favorite mug with the little K cup in the Keurig. He cares for her and he takes care of her financially. But that's what I mean by the indoctrination. She got this public school education and now she doesn't understand, well, why is she so nice to him? But that's why she's been with somebody for 27 years and you haven't.
That's right. There you go. Right. Never take advice from people who don't have what you have. Shout out to Julius Mays with the $5 super chat. He says, Pearl, new subscriber, Pearl is very beautiful. Love your content, Donovan. You, Fresh and Fit, Tommy, and Mr. Palmer would be a classic podcast. Keep it up. Looks like Julius is trying to shoot a shot here. Pearl, what's up?
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very, very much. Now, Julius, hold on. Julius looks like a brother, so you know what that would mean. Yeah. Oh boy, yes, there it is. There it is. There it is. Hey, listen, man. Listen, we don't hate on interracial dating here. I'm in an interracial relationship myself. Let's close this out.
As Black community of women, we're brainwashed. Like,
woo! That's exactly what you just said, Allie.
Really, really heartbreaking. The influence that social media and these celebrities really have on us. And
damn.
And it's also heartbreaking how much our mothers and our fathers have I don't think ruined is the right word.
Oh, she's being nice.
Just haven't given us the tools because they don't know anything more. So it's like the heartbreak is perpetual. You can't blame it on mother, grandmother.
Right,
You can't blame it on anyone. It's a perpetual thing. And we do the best that we can. No, I'm not about to start crying. She's
really thinking.
Okay.
She says, "No, I'm not going to start crying." Why is she getting emotional? Is it something I missed? Allie, what is this? What's happening?
I think it's a really sobering moment for a woman, more specifically a minority woman. I think a white girl from the trailer park could relate when you realize your mom made a bad choice in mate selection, and also she never figured it out. She never solved the problem, and she didn't bestow any lessons upon you in mate selection, because these moms, these modern mothers, they really think that you're just going to figure it out on your own. A man's just going to fall in your lap. I reflected back, and I don't think I ever had a conversation with my mother about how to be a good wife or how to be a good mom. And I went around and I started asking my other girlfriends who grew up in the same neighborhood that I did, had similar socioeconomic statuses, demographics, and they were saying the same things, that they never had that conversation. And you would think living with another woman as a woman, you think in 19 years that conversation would come up. But sometimes it just doesn't.
It just never does, man. Wow. And I think the reason why mothers don't talk about this stuff is because they don't really know themselves. Let's see if she gets emotional here.
Yeah. We do the best that we can. And our parents did the best that they could. But none of that matters, because none of it is enough for these babies, these kids out here.
Oh, wow.
Like, at all.
See, this is the woman in her coming out. This is the nurturing in her coming out. She's like, I'm doing the best that I can, but my best isn't good enough. Wow. Yeah, she looks very disturbed about that. All right. Final thoughts on the video. Pearl, lead us off, man. What is your overall thoughts on women being allergic to their idea of submission?
I think that heartbreak does crazy things to people.
Yes, it does.
And I think that it's like when they scan your brain, it looks like you're on drugs when you're in love.
Yes. Wow.
You know that?
Yes. Oh, yes. Wow.
So that's why people act literally insane. And I think that heartbreak has caused a lot of people to become jaded. And that's really what we see a lot today.
You are not kidding. I have seen study after study about when a person is really feeling what they think is love or lust or infatuation, whatever the case may be. When a person really is in love with another person and you light up their brain, the dopamine and the serotonin, it is similar to someone who is lacking heroin, like a heroin addict.
Yeah, I've seen it on both ends. I've seen like men ruin their lives for a woman, and I've seen women ruin their lives for a man.
Absolutely.
Like people that were like going places, meet the wrong person.
Nothing will detour a person's life than investing in the wrong person. Allie, what are your thoughts on the video and women being allergic to the S word?
I thought that video was actually pretty good. Not what I expected. Normally, I just hear a lot of blame placed on men. I think it was fairly bipartisan between men and women. I would urge women to stop thinking about submission to the wrong man. And the only reason I'm going to say that is because you're going to hear that enough. You're going to hear a lot of people saying that you shouldn't submit. How do you know if he's the one? How do you know if he's a good guy? It might be beneficial for some women who are dating. What if you submitted to a good man? What if he loved you? What if you were cherished? What if you respected him? Because I'm telling you, these relationships do not have to be hell. You just have to pick the right person. I can't tell you. I guess I just want to tell women, look, it feels amazing. I don't worry about anything. I wake up in the morning. I have a good leader. The bills are paid. All I have to do is sit around here and validate him. That is it. And I get to do things that fulfill me, and he's happy to see me fulfilled. So him being at work, 10 hours a day. I get to go out and I get to go to the gym, and that's something that I like for myself. But if I want to play piano or paint a painting, I could do that too.
Right.
So start thinking about what happens if he's a good man. Okay, just pick a good one.
All right, very good. Simon Live says Pearly is going places. I don't know. Simon might be could be. Listen, he met Celia Fieljoy in London. Maybe you can meet up with her.
Hey, come on my podcast.
Yeah, listen, just don't.
I'll
just
give your
make-
side of the story.
Yes, tell your side of the story. Just make sure your identification and credit cards are in a safe. You don't want Simon getting a hold of that. No One Helps says this episode is gonna hit differently for Black women. Yes, sir. He says this is fire. Hopefully, my sisters are listening. Unfortunately, they're not. It is what it is. Chase Hunnits says new skate footage on my page of Toronto State Police. Okay. Devin with the final comment today says, I can see why a race of people who were once enslaved and treated as second-class citizens rebuff being put in a submissive stance. Okay. All right. Okay. That actually makes some sense. But we're not slave masters out here. We're just men who want submissive women. Allie, listen, flash the ring one more time for the people. Look at the size of this thing. That thing is freaking huge. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And
you know what's funny?
what is it?
So I told him after we got married that I can pull the pin on the fat grenade, and then I can stop having sex with him.
What did he say?
He was just cracking up because no, he would never stand for that. He'd find me on the curb.
Yeah, absolutely. Dre Raven says, congrats. Ice Dragon Kid said, God damn. Yeah, dude, let's see that thing one more time because that's a big fucking rock that you have. Like, dude, that's a big rock. Like, listen, you don't have to tell us details, but that's not a cheap ring, is it?
Well, no, it's not. It's not. And originally I was okay with getting a smaller ring. I was, but then he kept pushing for the larger ring. And then it's basically a conversation. Do you want the Prius or do you want the R8? And I was like, well, if you're going to give me the nice one, give me the full bling blouse.
He gave me the R8. God damn it. Very good. Flash it one more time because this is a beautiful fucking rock. Look at that thing.
Thank you.
Blinded.
I'm so happy. Yay.
Oh my goodness. Look at the smile.
It works.
Yes.
Listen to Donovan.
Yes. Listen to Donovan. You know, it's interesting. Your face lights up as you show that ring the same way Pearl's face lights up when she talks about her father. I don't think that is a coincidence. One more $5 super chat says, Mad Scientist $5 says, imagine if a man saying I'll be masculine for the right woman. Right, exactly. It just have to be, listen, if you're submissive, you get chosen. Anything else to say to Julius here, Pearl?
No.
Totally kidding.
This is why I'm not good at the. Oh gosh.
You'll figure it out. Julius, you'll have to shoot your shot earlier. It is almost past my bedtime. Thank you guys very, very much for making time for us tonight. Pearl, thank you very, very much for offering your perspective on things. The reason I like Pearl is because you grew up in a good, strong, wholesome family, and your perspective, I think, is very, very important. Like you are the product of a good solid home, and I think having you on the team, I think is going to be beneficial to a lot of people, including yourself. So congratulations on being raised in a very, very strong household led by a strong mother and a strong father of submissive mothers.
Thank you.
Go ahead. Cigar Man says, did he go to Jared?
No, he did not. So we don't do chain jewelry stores anymore. We go to a local jeweler. I'm telling you, it's better quality. You form rapport.
Yes.
If anything falls off or breaks, they fix it on the low. So I would boycott chain jewelry stores. It's not worth it.
Real talk. Every kiss does not begin with K. Every kiss should begin with a blowjob, as far as I'm concerned. That's going to do it for everyone. Be sure to subscribe to Just Pearly Things YouTube channel, as well as follow her on Instagram. Follow Allie V, who's going to be Allie D on Instagram, and subscribe to her YouTube channel, Real Femme Sapien. Thank you guys all for tuning in, and